So there's a shot in the new episode of Friendship is Magic that's caused quite a bit of stir amongst the fans. Valley Girl ponies. Oh, no, wait, it's this one. It's an impressive shot, and it really adds a lot to the mood of the scene. The staging on its own is really nice, even without all the added bits. So since it's drawing so much attention, let's take a few minutes to see what puts this shot over the top. Of course, since this shot has a lot of subtle elements to it, I probably can't get away with roughing things out with the brush tool this time. Okay, let's start with some of the more obvious elements. First off, we've got a parallax pan, meaning that the foreground and background move at different rates, similar to how perspective works in real life. In this case, the background and foreground move in opposite directions to simulate an arcing camera move. This used to be one of the hardest things in the world to do in animation, especially with multiple levels. In the digital age, however, it's a lot easier. In this case, I just use simple motion tweens with a little easing to put things in place. There's actually parallax moves all over the show, primarily to give the backgrounds a sense of depth. However, this time it's far more evident. Same goes for the depth of field, blurring out different levels to simulate a rack focus and guide what we're paying attention to. In this case, once Fluttershy's attention goes to the door, we change focus. Again, though quite difficult in olden times, it's not hard to do in Flash, and it's been used several times before in the show.
What's the matter, Granny Smith? Chicken?
What did you call me, Sonny?
But same as before, it's much more pronounced here. Here's a shot from earlier in the season with parallax and depth of field used together to great effect.
I missed the deadline.
These blurs may be a drain on processing power, but they're pretty easy to set up. Again, just simple tweens. Next, the slight turn of the head, which is actually pretty simple if things are broken up into enough pieces. If this were a bigger turn, it might get difficult, but in this case, with a little stretching and skewing, I got things in place using simple motion tweens, no easing or anything. And like every other technique we've mentioned so far, you can find it elsewhere in the series, even in this episode. It's just slower, smoother, and more deliberate here. So here's just the head turn on its own. And here it is with the pan and rack focus. What stands out most to me in this shot is how they handled Fluttershy's eyes. They wrap around the head much more than usual, accentuating the roundness of the form. The blink here is also smoother than usual, with extra in-betweens to put it on ones, whereas a lot of regular blinks in the show are done on twos. Again, here it is without the pan and blur, and here it is with it. Lastly is the shadow on Fluttershy's face, which again helps describe the roundness of the head. For a bright, colorful show like this, it's a pretty rare occurrence. Even when scenes or entire episodes take place at night, they don't usually put shadows on the characters. They just tone down the color some. I just drew a semi-transparent black shape and used a shape tween to follow the turn of the head. Given how much fighting it takes to make shape tweens in Flash behave themselves, it's no wonder they don't use them more often. So here it is isolated with the head turn. And here's all the elements put together. So all in all, the techniques used to create a shot like this aren't extremely difficult. But then again, that's not the point. All that really matters is that these techniques are used in service of the story and the staging, enhancing the scene and not acting as a distraction by being used all willy-nilly. It doesn't matter how much elbow grease went into it as long as it's well done and serves its purpose. And in this case, it all adds up to an amazing scene.